Hello, this is Scott Headley. It's Thursday, and I want to share some thoughts with you about our course. The official opening of the course is next Monday, June the 7th. And there are some notes of clarification here, some notes of encouragement, some observations, and some pointers to resources. So I hope you get a chance to look at this. I'll also post my outline as well in a place that you can find, so you'll have that as well. I appreciate the interactions we've had already in the course. Well over half of you have had some engagement in the course on Canvas, on Slack, exchanging emails with me, etc. And I really appreciate that. I also appreciate the diversity of professional roles that we have in these three sections of ADMN, MEDU 543 on your experience levels and your geographic location, size of school, etc. It's really a great mix, and I'd like you to know that in our diversity lies our strength and lies opportunities for learning. Now, remember, we've got 72 people enrolled in three sections of this course. It will be, honestly difficult for me to connect really well with all of you. I'm going to do my best. That's my commitment to you. And I assure you, if you send me a message in Slack, if you send me an email, phone call, whatever it is, I'm going to do my best to respond ASAP. On the other hand, with this many people, we'll probably work well in small groups. And I think your school-based team is going to become a really good resource for you, in addition to the course materials and my own instruction. I'm a learner, just like you are. And yes, I've taught this course a few times, and I've considered a lot about ethical decision-making, worked in schools and with a lot of school people over the years, but I'm a learner. And I know I'm going to learn something from you and from your colleagues, and that's actually the reason why I continue doing this work, because I am a curious person. I enjoy getting new ideas and new ways of doing things, and also some confirmations and affirmations of some of the traditional ways that still work well. So here are some notes that I want you to consider as you're moving into the weekend and preparing for the official launch of our course. To help you learn a little bit more about the possible school sites that you'll be selecting a role in, you can go to the general resources block, which I believe is at the top of the page in the Canvas site for each of our course sections. In that area, you'll find a subsection on Newburgh School District resources. The best link there are the school report cards. And if you go into the school report card, you can get demographic information about the school, the size of the school, the makeup of the student and teacher population, etc. If you want academic information on those schools, since we don't have it for this year, you can go to the ODE website and find the archived school report cards for Newburgh for previous years. There's also attendance information and budget information about the Newburgh district available there as well. And reminding you that beginning at 6 o'clock in the morning Pacific time on Monday, you can begin signing up for your role and school. Now, because we have three sections, and I've made it easy for you by having 3 or 4 schools available to each of the sections, and so you'll only be picking from 3 or 4 schools, but with a variety of roles. I want you to know that if you pick an administrative role, please be prepared to accept some additional responsibility, mostly about communicating with your colleagues and ensuring that at least one representative from your school team is at these voluntary meetings. You can certainly take turns on that, and that way your school will be represented and you can participate in the exchange of information. But if you are interested in taking on an administrative role, you can just kind of view this as the first step in earning your credential and getting your first formal administrative role. And as you know, those of you that are doing leadership work, that means service, that means responsibility. And hopefully your colleagues are thanking you for that. There are 10 schools in the Newburgh system that we'll be signing up for. There's 2 high schools, 2 middle schools, and 6 elementary schools. They vary from rural schools, large comprehensive high school, and alternative school, and age of building and so forth. You can learn some of that by looking at the Newburgh district information. After everyone's signed up, and by the end of next week, if people haven't signed up, either because they're not paying attention, they're away, they can't make up their mind, I will assign the remaining people to whatever roles are left. And at that time, by next weekend, we can do a little shifting around if need be. For instance, if you said, wow, I really wanted to be on a high school and all those slots were filled, we can try to do some swapping around by mutual consent. And that's fine. I'm also looking for a small group, possibly, I haven't decided yet, but I'm looking for a small group of POSAs, participants on special assignment, who will assist me and other district level people in communicating, coordinating and planning activities and so forth. If this has particular interest to you and you might be willing to do that in lieu of being on a school-based team, send me an email and let's talk about it. Some of you have noticed in Canvas a little quirk of the system that is an error. If you're in the module and you click on a resource, in particular something on the Google Drive, there are some resources that will not open up in that window within Canvas. However, if you click on the little button in the inside of that window, in where that error message is, it will tell you that it will open up in a new tab, and indeed it will. So that's the fix that I found, the workaround to make it work. Next week, I will host a couple of voluntary Zoom meetings, mostly for the purpose of just answering questions and concerns and talking about the kind of the course in general. Look for an email and also a Slack message in the district office channel sometime over the weekend, when I'll put a couple of times, probably 2 evenings, be open for, late afternoon, evening for an hour. It's not mandatory at all. But you're more than welcome to come. We can talk, we can get acquainted, we can have a happy hour if you want. Or you can have a real specific question you think others may have or whatever. But you don't need to wait to a live meeting. If you do have a question, you can just send me an email and I'll be happy to address that. I'll try to record those meetings, and in fact, I'll try to record all the meetings, including the ones that we'll have with resource people that will join us, hopefully in week 2 and later on in the course. Some district folks from Newburgh who will be able to interact with you about what they're doing to give you some guidance, maybe make some suggestions and entertain some questions from you about how to structure this plan and this process so that it's meaningful for you, it's applicable, but it's also true to life, to what what Newburgh needs. I'll record those as well, and don't hesitate to remind me at the beginning of these Zoom meetings that I need to record. You can tell I'm a senior citizen, and sometimes I forget details like that. So I certainly don't mind people saying, hey, Scott, don't forget to record. I'll mount those recordings in YouTube as well. So with a link in the course in a couple of places, so that if you're unable to attend the live meetings, they'll be there as an archive so you can go back in and see them. All right, just a real brief note about ambiguity. I think that my instructions on the individual assignments are pretty clear. I worked hard on the instructions on the capstone assignment and on the reflection assignments. I wanted to make that clear, and on that big major project that's due at the end of the course, you can get started on that immediately. I think it will be really helpful for you to have read all the text and look at some of the supplementary resources before you get started, but don't wait till the end. You can certainly knock that off as we go along. But I will say on this group project where you're working with a team, ambiguity is built in. Remember what a simulation is. It's something that approximates real life. And most of you know the last year and a half has been a time of ambiguity. It's been a time of difficulty. It's been a hard time for educators and for those we serve. And so I think it's not realistic for you to assume that everything is going to be crystal clear about what we're trying to do and how we're doing it. It's going to be up to you to be proactive with your team and with me and with others in this course in all the sections to make suggestions, to do some negotiating. And at the end of the day, you're going to have to make some choices. And that's really what the ethical frameworks are about, is giving you the foundation by which you can make choices that are not only logical, but are also drawing from some very important principles that we believe about what it means to be an educator and what it means to be a humane person who is looking out for the best interests of the people that he or she works with. But I don't mean to add stress to your life. This assignment is not intended to be stressful at all. I want you to have fun with it. I want you to relax. I want you to play with ideas. I want you to get to know the people you're working with. Trust your teammates. You can share the load on this project. It does not have to be on anyone's shoulder individually. And remember, if you feel like some people are not doing as much as others, that's real life too. And so let's extend grace to one another. And I think you're going to find this to be a pretty meaningful learning experience if you kind of follow my general guidelines there. And you know what? At the end of the day, 6 weeks from now or so, this is all going to be over. Hopefully, during that time, you're also going to have time to be with your family, with your friends. You're going to enjoy nature. You're going to enjoy some other things besides just being in a virtual classroom. So I wish I could say the same about myself, but you know, I've had a sabbatical this last year, so now it's my time to work really hard. And I know you're going to work hard, but I also hope you have some time to play and to relax as well during the time that this course is going on. All right, just a couple of other things. Actually, maybe I've kind of gotten to the end of my list. There's a couple other points I'm not going to mention, but you can see them in the notes when they come out. I look forward to working with you. I thank you for your attention and for your willingness to learn and to maybe engage in a little bit different way than you might have expected or have done in the past. And blessings to you. I know this has been a hard year, and I know you've worked hard. And I just hope and pray that you've seen some fruit to your labor. You've seen some kids with the joy of learning. You've seen some families who have hope. You've seen some colleagues who had a real difficult time, and you found a way of connecting with them and encouraging them and helping them figure out how to use a new technological platform or make this new bizarre schedule work for them. I really do believe that teaching and leading are in some regard callings. I think if they're just jobs, if they're just professions, we don't have our entirety into it. And it's always been my belief that teaching and leading are not things we do out of ambition or out of the opportunity to gain authority or wealth or power. It's an opportunity to help and to guide and to influence and to serve. And that's why I'm in this field, and that's why I've been in it for 40 years. And I've been blessed by the people I've worked with, my colleagues, my students. Some of my closest friends today are my alums, people who have gone through my courses that I've had the opportunity to stay connected with, and I marvel at the work they're doing. And I know some of you are going to be in that same category when we get done with this, and I'm grateful for that. So take care of yourselves, take care of the ones that you love, and let others take care of you too. And I'll see you soon. Good day.